Morning, guys. Hope you are all doing well. Welcome back to another episode of my Ask Me Anything show, which today is not an Ask Me Anything. I'm actually doing something slightly different. I've got a guest who has a product that I think you guys are going to be keen to hear about. It's probably one of my most asked questions, which is, what's the best way to record my podcasts online? Like, what tools do you use? How do you do it? And today I've got someone on the show who is changing that space. I've been talking to them for a while. I've sampled their product, but not used it in depth. But I'm keen to find out more before we commit to working with that. I'm sure you'll be interested to find a bit out about it too. You know the drill. Ask your questions in the comments. We'll ask the guest any that we can. I'll pick up an answer on anything that I can too. Right, let's get into this. Welcome back. So Connor, the producer's not with us today, so I'm pressing all the buttons again, hence the clunky transitions and probably fewer banners and, trimmings around the edge on the show as normal, because I'm trying to be producer and presenter at the same time. So we're streaming live on YouTube and Facebook like we do every morning, Monday to Friday, 9:15 BST. You can find us on socials across all the places you'd expect at OneFinePlay. Would love to see you over there. Ask any questions. You can email us as well, live@onefineplay.com. If you've got a question, you don't want to come on the show and share it, you just want me to answer it, we will get back to any question, anything we can help you with in the podcasting space. Do give us a shout. So the question that comes up time and time again is, what is the best way to record podcasts online? And we've experimented a lot with this over the last 6 months. I've asked so many people for their advice, their tips. You know, there's the classic of using Zoom. There are a bunch of other recording products out there that you can use. We went through a phase where we got everyone to record their audio separately on their iPhones, and then we were syncing that together with a video that we'd recorded. So like we would record on the Zoom and we would record on an iPhone, and we would sync it together, but it's a bit technical and, a bit clunky. The challenge that people seem to find is, of course, with the fact that you're relying on your internet for the quality of the recording, and sometimes it drops out, or the picture disappears, or it does that buffering thing, and that's super frustrating. So there are some very clever people around the world who've tried to start to fix that, and one of those is Johan, who has a company called Welder. Johan, welcome to the show. Let's bring him in.
What's up, welcome. James? Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming on the show, and thanks for dedicating your days to trying to fix this nightmare of a problem for people. How do I record my podcast online?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No, thank you. So I think one of the big challenges for people recording podcasts especially is how do I record audio and video together and it be reliable and not have that problem I was just talking about with like the buffering and it, it missing gaps, and, it's an absolute pickle. So I know that you've been working hard on that with a new product. I'd love to find out more about, maybe let's kick off with context as to Welder first, and then we'll dig into your background and how you're the man for the job.
Yeah, let's do it. So we started Welder because, as you said, this kind of issue is there, and we see a lot of discussions in communities for podcasting and also YouTube creators and stuff like that. And one time we saw this interview with Bill Gates and Trevor Noah. It was in super high quality, and we were like, wow, why this interview looks so nice and the others are shitty. And we even tried to create our own content, and through Zoom, and it was shitty. So we were like, wow, okay, it's because they have huge production, but why you cannot do it on your own, like with your phone or webcam or something like that? Like you just need to record the files locally. That's it. That's how you do it. You have to have the live call and then the local storage, storing the files locally, and that's it. And that's why we created Welder, and that's actually what Welder is. It's the easiest way to create high quality content remotely.
So just so in case anyone, because you sort of flew past the crucial bit there, I think the important thing to understand that Welder does is that it records each of the users locally. So it's not reusing the internet to record it. It's capturing it at, like in our case, it would be capturing at my end and it would be capturing it at your end. And then once it's finished recording it all, it uploads it.
Exactly.
Or it's sort of like it actually uploads it as it goes.
You got the you have the live call, live conference call, and each computer records locally. So you get a full quality because if you are recording the server side, as we call it, the server side, you get the internet, as you said, problems, the glitching, the lags, because it needs to be real time. So if your internet slows down, it needs to be compressed more. So it's still real time. And that you can solve with recording locally. You don't have these issues. So afterwards, after the call, you get full quality, like from QuickTime or whatever local recording software you would use, recording, and you can use it for post-production.
Yeah, I think that is a really good solution because it just takes out the stress of, is the other person, like not even the other person, is my own internet suddenly going to glitch? And I think we all know that, you can do whatever you want and it has a mind of its own. It'll just suddenly decide it's going to stop working for some reason. Yeah,
exactly.
Which is a bit of a nightmare. So how are you getting on with it? How long has it been live? How long have you been working on it?
So we are working for 5 months right now. As I said, we started because of the COVID situation. Because there is the interesting story how the Welder and the idea of remote content creation came to us. It's because we are doing a business and we are doing startups and projects and all kinds of things for 6 years right now with the same team, and we always knew that the content is crucial for us, that we need to create content. And I tried so many ways to create content and share it, like Casey Neistat videos, wow, Gary Vaynerchuk style videos, wow, document. But my life is not so interesting, Then we did podcasts in our office, but you have to tell people, hey, come to my office, take your time, your precious time, and come to my office. And then it's so hard to create content. And then the COVID happened. And we were like, okay, let's just record what we are talking about with our team, because we believe we talk about interesting stuff. It can inspire some entrepreneurs. It can be some good knowledge for someone else who is in the same space. We're like, yeah, let's record it and just put it out there. It's the easiest way to do it. It's natural for us. And we recorded with Zoom, and the Zoom was shit. So
and I think
we're like, okay, let's make a solution for that.
I think, you make so many good points there. The Casey Neistat mindset of telling a story of your life, that guy is one talented motherfucker. He's making daily, one of the best things to happen this month is he started daily vlogging again. So every day there's 5 minutes of happiness in my day where I just get to watch an amazing Casey video. But he's so skilled, and that in itself is so time consuming. I was watching his video yesterday and he's reversing a van into a parking spot, and he's put the camera in 7 different places on the car, which means he's got in and out of the car. It's taken him 20 minutes to do something that takes 7 seconds. And that isn't realistic for most of us at scale to tell stories like that, especially when it takes so long to get traction. But on the other end of the scale, Zoom is not designed for making good quality video content to share with the world. It's designed so you can have a conference call quickly and efficiently and talk to 44 people at the same time. So, you can really tell. And I think at the beginning of this pandemic coronavirus situation, people were kind of accepting of it. But now that we're in this, this is now a long-term thing. This is not a problem that's going away. The expectation is increasing again. People want that good definition, that good quality. And so I think what you're building is absolutely something that, there will be more and more demand for. Because as you say, the other thing, which is getting in rooms with each other and actually recording in person, that's what we used to do. We used to have a studio, but those days are not coming back anytime soon. People are not raving to get together in a room. And there has to be a solution in the middle. We've actually recorded in a studio last week, and we're recording again tomorrow. And it's weird. Oh,
that's my
there's
cat.
The family.
Yeah, that's my cat.
That's your cat.
Yeah, it's my cat.
Amazing.
It's he's real talking.
Amazing.
Because he believes that I talk to him, so he's like talking back to me, but I'm not talking to him. I'm talking to you guys.
We have a cat too that talks quite a lot, but only when he wants to go out or he needs something. Talks away, won't shut up, whatever time of the day or night. So I think that there's a real demand. So you were making content yourself before, is that right? And then this became a solution.
Exactly, I did, and we are again trying to create content right now with Welder. It's time exhausting still because there is a lot of work on Welder, but we believe like the content need to be produced and people need to see us. And as you said, the content is really good for business, and we believe recording remotely is the easiest way for create content. It just is.
And
like not only create content, create valuable content, which is, I believe, that's important. Like, because as you said, just quickly to get back, like if you started and you are in the time as Casey and I started where you could go up and be one of the best, but right now the space is crowded. But so it's not like you go like this, but you want to go like this in verticals, you know. So if I will be talking about like really my kind of space with my guys together and it's interesting, I will find few people that will really love to consume this kind of content, and it will be huge for them, and it will be also leverage for us. So I believe in this, and that can be done by recording remotely easily.
So let's get into the technicals of how Welder works, not the back end, but like for a user, because I think that's what people will be interested in. Like, you know, I speak to lots of people who have, you know, you're doing Zoom recordings, or they're using their phone, or they're using another version of it. And so what would the Welder experience be for someone? What would they do, and what equipment do they need? How does it work?
Yeah, so right now, it will be different in the future, but right now, we are really aiming for the best quality and ease of use. Not the best accessibility right now, we are working on it, but ease of use. So right now, if you are a creator, you register on our website. We got a free plan that's 2 hours per month of recording, which is quite nice for you to start. You create a session, you name it. You can pick if you want echo cancellation and all this kind of stuff that will be made for you automatically or not. And then you just join the button. It will prompt you to download an app, which is thing you need to do. If you want to use Welder right now, you have to download an app because that's the only way you can achieve like really high quality. You can go up to 4K with your DSLR, and it will work and it will be stable.
So let's talk about this for a minute, because I think this is. I mean, I hope you don't mind. I want to talk openly about different platforms.
Yeah, sure.
We've used Riverside recently, and they record in browser. So they ask you to use Chrome, and then they record the content locally and upload it. You have gone for the app, and I will say that works, but I don't know, we specifically have had some challenges with it, some good experiences more recently, but it's been a bit of a bumpy journey for us. You've gone for the app route. What's the reason for that? Because obviously there's the friction in the downloading the app, and not everyone has people have different levels of technical ability or IT ability. What's the reason for the app?
Yeah.
And also you mentioned there the DSLR. Now I think I understand how that comes in, but just talk me through like the basics someone needs and what you can do.
First thing I want to clarify, because I know it's hard, but the way you need to install Welder right now, it's not that hard. You just click one button, you just click install, and it's done. And you know that you don't have to care that your guests have Chrome or Safari or Explorer. It will just work, which is we can see from feedback that is something people don't understand, but it's this simple, and it will make you. And why we decided to go this way is because we think this is not such a barrier, but it is actually. So we are going to fix it, but this is the only way we can allow you to go more than 720p, so HD. So all the online platforms are limited on 720p, and also kind of a low bitrate, because Chrome doesn't give you so much space to save your files. We have like all the space you have on disk if we need. So we can go you can take your DSLR, connect it to your computer, and go up to 4K with Welder. That's why we decided to do this. Also reliability, because in your like native app, you can actually control like many more things that can go wrong. In the Chrome, that you cannot control. So that's also another thing. So we do like local recording, server-side recording, and stuff like that. And for your question,
Cool. No,
just for a question, how to use DSLR, it's pretty simple. I'm not using it with Streamyard right now because it actually doesn't work with Streamyard. I'm using my iPhone right now, and I can also tell you how to do it. But if you just have your DSLR, it's super simple. You just take it, turn it on, set video mode on your DSLR, and then you buy this little thing, which is called Camlink from Elgato. I'm not sure if it's readable or not. Camlink for Elgato, It costs like, I don't know, $100. It's super cheap. And it's the best way to like connect your DSLR to your computer. You get it as web camera. You go up to 4K recording. It's beautiful. It's amazing.
And how many people are you seeing recording in 4K?
Not that much, actually. Not yet. We are having some users. Yeah, we are having some users that are onboarding and trying to use it. But mostly we see people, because it's interesting. As there was no option how to easily do it right now, we see people like, wow, that's cool. I have my default web camera, so I'm going to buy a better camera. And they buy a better camera that's like full HD, for example. They record with it, and then they are like, wow, okay, so I can go up to 4K. I want to go up to 4K. And then they invest into huge camera, So there is like a adoption curve.
Oh, definitely. And I think 4K is a really interesting concept or conversation in two ways. Well, there's three parts to it for me. Number one is, can you record in 4K? So I think most people are using their inbuilt webcams. I've actually moved across to a Logitech StreamCam camera because I have an external monitor, and my external monitor doesn't have a webcam. You know the scenario. So I have an external webcam. I can like move it around and do whatever because it's not connected to anything. And the picture quality instantly improved because the camera in the webcam is better. And for $100 makes a massive difference. So I could record in 1080 because you need your camera to be able to record in 1080. The second problem, though, if you're doing any editing, is that like recording in 4K might sound sexy, but you try editing in 4K, you end up needing proxy files, and you need a new computer, and it's a massive headache. Yeah. And then thirdly, most importantly, if you're posting to social, which I think in 2020 most people are, like Facebook compresses everything to 720 anyway. So like I think recording in 1080 if you can is what you should be doing.
Yeah,
but
me too. You can go up.
You can go up to 4K if you want, and if you're Casey Neistat and you've got 12.3 million subscribers, I can see why you would. But I think you've got to be realistic about. But it's great you've got that functionality.
I mean, the biggest point is really like not only 4K, just like it kind of is a buzzword for you to see like how high you can go. But the main point, and even how I record, is DSLR and full HD. But the lens on DSLR is like it's just different, It looks beautiful, and that's the way. Also, I would really recommend using your iPhone or your Android. We are just releasing article on how to use that on any kind of like recording software. But with Welder, you can go up to full HD, and it's really nice and it's super easy. You just download one free app, launch it, and you have your iPhone. It's beautiful. So
especially for podcasting, like we talked a lot about the video side because I think that's the challenging bit. But for audio, there are lots of audio options out there. Yeah. There is, like off the bat, and I'm not great with this, but there's like Zencaster and there's Clean Feed, and there's people worry about the quality of the audio and capturing it, especially in podcasting. Now, if you've got a good editor, they can post-produce and make something that's not great sound buttery clean. But how is that working? How is that working for you, and what are your recommendations?
Yeah, so I believe it's right now, to be honest, I believe that if you are only into going for highest quality and you don't care about video, go for Squadcast. The guys are doing amazing job. Like they are there. As I did some tests, their quality is really like nicest kind of. Riverside is not that nice. We are somewhere between in the Squadcast and Riverside. It really depends also on your setting. So you need to turn off echo cancellation because that will skew your audio a lot. You need to turn off the noise cancellation, but then you have to be like in silent space as much as possible. You need to maybe, because the mics are still picking your voice from these open headphones, so you need to make it in post-production, but you can achieve like really nice quality if you want with us and with Squadcast too. But our take on this is that, again, as we are a native app, what we can do is really having raw audio recording. So most of these platforms are using Chrome and Opus codec to record, which is nice. It's great for voice. It's hard to recognize the difference, but the difference is there. And one of the features we want to add in the future is really having raw audio that is completely like lossless and uncompressed. But it goes with the need that you have to do a lot of post-production after that to get the nice voice and nice sound.
And I think that's super honest of you to say that you sit in the middle, you're working on it. But I think the thing that's really interesting is the fact you're capturing the raw audio, which can be fixed in post. And anyone using an editor or an audio engineer, that audio engineer is probably mastering the audio anyway. So all of the content that comes through the business I run, OneFinePlay, it all gets post-produced anyway. So the more raw, the better, because they're going to do, all the things that they do to make it sound great. So they want as many options as they can. And raw means that they're collecting, if anyone doesn't understand what raw means, it's basically pulling as much data as possible into that file. So then the person editing it has the options that have been collected so they can use the different bits of that file that they want. Let's talk about echo, because it's something that is a never-ending challenge for us, because it's unbelievable how many people don't have headphones even in this day and age. Hey, could you please make sure you bring headphones? Oh, I haven't got any headphones. So what is, like, could you just talk, and you always see the option at the beginning of echo cancellation on or off, and people don't really understand the point of it because they often can't hear it themselves. Could you walk us through its importance and how you've combated it, or what you're doing at Welder to make it as easy for the user as possible?
Right now we have as really our approach is that Welder should be the best option for you as a master. I am specifically talking about you, James. So really like the guy that understands it and wants the best quality out of it, but also for your guest that is some maybe 60-year-old guy that is really like the best architect in the world, but doesn't care about tech, So it needs to work for both of you. And even like if you are not that tech savvy, it should work for you really simply. And that's why we have the option there to turn off the echo cancellation. That will also make all the noise cancellation and stuff like that working. And it's pretty nice. And I like, for example, I'm using it all the time because the sound quality difference is there, but it's not so huge. Like it's still really great quality. And if you turn it off, you have to really play with post-production because what we are getting right now, I'm really like, wow, how is that we are, as I said, getting echoes from the headphones on the good mics, because the mics are so good that they picks up the voice from the headphones. And it's like, wow, I don't want to deal with that either. So in the future, we will be playing with this and how much maybe you can like do it. And also what we want to do as one thing is that on your live call, you will have the echo cancellation, because on the live call, you don't need the pure quality, but on your recording, it will be like lossless, Yeah,
that makes sense, because I think it's distracting and people find it harder to focus.
Yeah, exactly. And then in your post-production, you will have the full like option to play with it as with the raw file, where you get all the data you need.
So I think one of the things that people don't realize is that, like, say when we had a recording studio set up back in the days when we went out and about and didn't stay at home all night, all day even, when we were recording, we would use a limiter. So when I was talking, your microphone would be off unless it was picking up a certain level of noise, and then vice versa. So you wouldn't pick up the other person's microphone because it wouldn't be picking up anything at all. It wouldn't be picking up background noise. It would just be off unless it hit, I think it was minus 32 dB. And then it would start to record, which is obviously risky if someone whispers or, there are challenges around it. But it sped up our post-production time by like 4x when we
I believe that. I believe the future is in the post-production tools. And I'm not sure if we are the ones who should do this, but we can, is that, as I said, like on your live call, you will record with echo cancellation, so it's clear, so you are not distracted. On your local recording, you will record with the echo. But for example, you can then export the files and click like do this feature, like mute when this person is not talking, and it will get exported. But for example, if there is something wrong, you can still get the raw file and fix it for yourself, So for
sure. So sometimes when we've had problems in recording remotely, one of the producers sat there and muted people's microphones in order to get a cleaner recording, which is a nightmare because you got to guess when they're about to talk. But it's better than having all of that feedback. So what's in Welder? Do I get the local recordings, but is there a composed recording as well? So if someone wasn't, using a producer, or they were doing their own post-production, but they didn't have lots of skills, they were, say, like a beginner or just a self-taught from YouTube, and they wanted a composed recording, do you get that too?
No, not right now. It's something that is on our feature list, but not right now. Like, we really wanted to focus on the core problem, and we are still finding, and on the feedback we are getting, we are working on the core solution and really on the main pain that we can solve with the technology. And this is not it. This is like something that's solved like thousands of times. You can just take the files and push them to some other online tool to make it like this. And we believe that's maybe the best way right now. And we are just a part in the whole flow creation. And we are still not sure what part are we going to play, if we want to like overlap with some, or really like partner with some other to make your flow seamless. But that's our take. We really want to focus on our core.
So that sort of leads me nicely. You started to talk about things on the roadmap. Like, what is the future of Welder? I'm really excited by what you're talking about, because it sounds to me like you're taking it steady, you're being patient, you're trying to do things properly. You understand the importance of quality and ease of use, and things not going wrong for the user. What's next? What should we look out for in the next few months?
It's really hard to say, because we are we are so early that it still changes. But I believe I can say that we are adding web access really soon. First version of the web access will not have local quality recording. It will be server side, but you can pick your guest just to have easy access, and it should be accessible also from mobile. Okay. And in about a month, we will have also the same quality, for example, as Riverside have with their online web access. And the next features, we see a lot of them. We see like screen share is really needed. The thing we talked about right now is really needed. We see some little features like, for example, agent down your screen. There is so many of it, and there is so much feedback for the tool, and we need to prioritize really well, because as we are really early, we are working hard on finding something what's called PMF, product market fit, which is essential for business to grow well. And we made so many mistakes on our business journey that we just were like, oh, this is good, we love this, let's make it. And we spent like 6 months like grinding, making beautiful product, because that's what we love to do. And that was like, wow, no one needed it. Like, what the fuck? I
will say that it is beautiful. Like, the experience, your website looks great, your branding is great. That definitely really helps. You've smashed it in that.
But yeah, thank you, man. But the general vision of Welder, and I believe that's something that can be told, is that we really want to be the tool that wherever there is remote content creation, there is Welder. And it would make sense to use Welder there, because it will be, as I said, for you, the best option to get high quality and reliability, so you don't lose your files, it won't get stuck on 2 hours or something like that. And also you get huge accessibility. So if your guest wants to join from web, he can or she can. If you are on the go, you can use mobile. We also have some idea on asynchronous interviews, which is a really cool thing. So I can record my questions for you before, send it to you, and you will record them when you have time. That will be compiled, and you get a whole interview that you can push like whenever you want. So there is a lot of stuff, and the general idea is really that we believe.
I would put that. I personally would put that one a long way down my roadmap. Because when you start to look at automating conversations, it's getting to know people in real life. That's what's so exciting. Yeah, I went on someone's show the other day, and he does a thing called Humans of LinkedIn, where he just meets up with random people that you know how you see people on LinkedIn that you don't know the face.
Yeah.
That's cool. He sits and just chats to them on a live stream. And that, just talk about live streaming for a second. In our email conversation to set this call up, you were saying to me that you could, in theory, use Welder for a live stream. Can you brief? And I said, let's just use Streamyard, because easy for me. I would have been cool to do a demo in retrospect, but like, talk me through how that works.
Yeah, so right now we don't have any direct streaming feature, so you cannot just push like stream to YouTube or stream to Streamyard. We don't have that, but you can really just take, if you have two screen, that works best mostly. You take Welder, you put it on your second screen, you put it full screen, and we have a button that will hide your UI of the Welder. So it's like nice black and just two of you or as many of you speaking together. And you share that here in StreamYard as a screen. And you got the Welder, the same quality of streaming kind of, and also the high quality recording afterward that you can use. So yes, you can use Welder for streaming. And we are still thinking about adding direct features, so it's easier, but it's a huge space, streaming is like
huge space.
Wow.
So people that we, we've talked about Welder a lot. We didn't talk about who's using it. So people aren't using it. People are using it for podcasting and video podcasting, right? And I think that's awesome. And my experience with it so far has been good. And I'm definitely going to try it more. And I'm excited about when it comes into browser, because I think that will open up the doors for so many people. Even though it's slightly more unreliable. And actually, before this call, I was a bit like, oh, yeah, the app thing, that's annoying. But now you've told me it's one click and it's easy. And I see how that allows it to be so much more controllable and reliable. And I think that talking people through that process of the app would get rid of so many headaches that we've had. I know that Kazra, our head of production, our like lead audio engineer, would love that idea, because he spends his life trying to fix nightmare recordings by syncing them in post. And it's just there's like lag and stuff, which is an absolute, So what else are people using it for? They're using it to record just video content, I guess?
Yeah, we see a lot of people using it for YouTube. Almost the same as podcasting, just with video. Yeah. Interviews or making like co-hosted like comedies and stuff like that. We see also people using it for events. So they record, either they do the event on and speakers on the Welder and then share it, for example, as I said, like through some stream, or they pre-record the content there and then they play it on the event and it's like fake live. We see also production companies, like movie production company or like video production companies, using it that if they are doing for other people interviews and content, and they are using it to make this content happen. Generally, really, remote interviews is the biggest use case right now.
And I think that you talked about two things there that I think are going to be huge. So I've actually found myself using the Logitech app, which I guess I come from a filmmaking background, so there's a sort of level, I guess, of confidence. But I've got a video here I'm going to post on LinkedIn today where I literally used my webcam and the Logitech app, and I put like a watermark in the corner, and then I just talked at it and pressed stop. And that was my video, because I just did it in one take. And I can see how people will use a product like Welder to do that all the time. And it would be great if I wanted to do that, and then my editor could just automatically pick it up, because you could just log in and get it, which I think would be awesome. And I don't know if you can do this, but multiple access on the same account.
We have that.
So
we have that.
People who don't let you do that drive me crazy, because it's a constant thing that we need to do.
Yeah, we have that in the business tiers, but we have that.
And the future is live streaming. I reckon that, like you say, the live streaming space is huge, but I think roads point to live streaming. And I can say firsthand that from doing this show, even in 2 weeks, like I've said this on the show the last 2 days, but my LinkedIn page views, profile views are up 388% in 2 weeks just from doing live streams. It's going to become more of a thing. So anything you can do to make that easier for people is great.
Yeah, I believe the best way would be to find an easy way to just take the streams from Welder and push it into StreamYard or Restream or something like that, and having that recording you and also having dry stream abilities. But that's the question, how it will work.
So you said, if anyone wants to give Welder a try, you get 2 hours free of recording each month. Records your audio and your video separately. You can have up to 4 people on the call. Is that right? Exactly. Which is awesome. I think that's great. And then there are paid profiles, or paid from there, that take up the number of hours that you can you can record on a month. Anything else that we haven't talked about that you would love people to know? This is your moment to.
But not sure actually. I believe that anyone who wants to go for high quality and reliability should try Welder. We are really early in the stage, so there needs to be some patience with some features. But I believe people should check regularly what's the development on Welder. But really, again, as I said, and I recommended Squadcast, it really depends on what you want and what's your goal with your content.
And I couldn't agree more. I mean, for anyone out there who is using Zoom to record their podcast, I mean, what are you doing? Gotta find it better. Gotta find something better than that. If you're recording
Zoom is kind of no go.
Yeah, I mean, that's just. If you're recording your podcast audio only, that's why are you leaving the video opportunity out? You need the pictures. You need to be delivering your content in more than one format. People might be video people. There's the whole YouTube space. If you haven't got pictures, how are you putting it there? How are people going to find you there?
That's what we actually talked yesterday about with Alex as we created our first piece of content, was really why we believe video is important for podcasting. And first thing is interesting that Spotify and Apple are adding videos to their platforms, which is huge. So each podcast will have the option to add a video. And it's just why not do it? Even maybe someone is shy before camera, but on these live calls, you still want to see them, you see them, so you can record it actually. And then you have so much more material that you can use for people to find your podcast. I have so much trouble finding podcasts because if you go to Spotify or something like that, you see only the covers, and I cannot relate to that. I'm I'm a visual person, so I cannot relate to that at all. But if there is a short spot on Instagram or something like that with titles and it's two people talking about something interesting, I'm wow, I want to check it out. And I also relate to that more. I remember those people more. I want to check it again later more, and you have so much more options to distribute your podcast. Just record it, put it on YouTube, live stream it, put shorter links on LinkedIn, put even shorter links on Instagram and Facebook. Go for it. that's how you get listeners.
Yeah, and Joe Rogan is getting 3 million plus views a day of his podcast on YouTube. So I know everyone's, Spotify say they're the biggest player, and then Apple say they're the biggest player, but YouTube also say the biggest player. And I hate to say it, but
second biggest platform, man.
I'm gonna punt. I reckon there's a lot of podcast consumption going down on YouTube. Johan, thank you so much for your time. I'm just gonna stick you back in the green room, say goodbye to the live stream, and then I'll
sure. Thanks for having me. It was really nice.
You're welcome. Hopefully, people that have been watching the live stream, hope you've enjoyed that. That was Johan from Welder. You can find them at, let me just make sure I get this right, getwelder.com. Put the link in the description and whatever. If you're looking for a new way to record your podcast, you're looking for better quality audio, better quality video, you want to give as much raw content as you can to your editor, I would seriously check these guys out. They're early, as Johan says, but they are working really hard. They seem really diligent. They're really nice guys. If you reach out, I'm sure they will help you with anything that you need. This is not paid. We're not in collaboration, nothing like that. I just wanted to get them on and share someone's story so that you guys can see the same information that I'm looking at when I'm considering how to record. We're going to give them a try. Actually, we're doing a remote recording tomorrow with someone in Mexico. So I'm going to give Welder a spin for that. We have been using Riverside. We wanted to use Squadcast, but getting onto that seems to be a nightmare. But I think it's time to give Welder a go tomorrow. In the meantime, we should talk tomorrow about the fact that the Amazon have just released their podcast player yesterday. So if your podcast isn't on Amazon yet, isn't available, then you need to be making sure that you're sending them your RSS feed. I'm not sure about tomorrow's episode because we're at a studio. I will try to go live at 9:15. If not, we'll be back on Monday live at OneFinePlay. If you want to send us an email, ask us any questions. If you want me to put you in touch with the guys at Welder, I'm sure we can do that too. At OneFinePlay on all the socials. Give it a follow. Smash that subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up. Tell a friend to tell a friend who you think needs to know about podcasting, wants to find out more. hopefully this show will answer their questions. In the meantime, have a great day. Have a great weekend if we're not around tomorrow. And speak to you soon. Peace.